what I'm hearing again and again and again. I'm doing all the work, but it's not working.
Yes, and that's the problem. They need a helper. They can't do the work. There's something in us. It's represented in the medical symbol, but go ask 1,000 MDs and they have no idea what that means. The caduceus is that staff that we see above the doctor's office with the wings at the top, the ball in the center, and the two coiled serpents.
Absolutely.
That staff represents the spine. The wings represent freedom, and the two coiled serpents represent two nerves, or actually acupuncture meridians, that flow up into the brain, and that ball represents the pineal gland, or the top chakra. And when that's awakened, those three routes, that experience that we have of holism or oneness, the wings represent that. And that, in essence, when we reach that, or at least tap into it a little bit, it begins to free us from those habitual patterns that are locked in the cells and tissues of the body.
So are you talking about the Kundalini rising here?
Yes, I am, but the caduceus, you know the logo that all doctors use?
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I'm just wanting to clarify it for listeners.
Yes, absolutely. It's right there, the true source of healing, and all MDs have it on their door, and yet they have no idea what it means. It has nothing to do with the taking of pharmaceuticals or any kind of invasive therapy or actually awaken this blueprint we're deemed.
So in awakening the Kundalini, that's a very common phenomenon that happens around the age of 50, but it happens earlier for many others too, doesn't it?
It does. For me, it started at about 24 years of age, and I think that it has to do more with the situation I was in, being locked in that cell and really paying attention to what was happening in my life created that internal alchemy and that burst. But you're right. For many people, it does begin to awaken in their 50s, but more times than not, it's just a peak experience that most people feel. And they really have to have this continuous experience of the awakening of the Kundalini to really move forward in life and reach their full potential. A peak experience can free them of maybe one pattern, but it can't really free them into a complete state of holism. They need to fan these inner fires.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So in terms of your own business, you developed this thing called Shen Life, and we're going to talk about that after the break. We've got a couple of minutes before then. So I just want to ask you, what is your understanding of the term holistic healing? Because we know we're skirting around it, but what is your understanding of that term?
Well, holism is simply oneness. It's a unified awareness, right? Shen, it means creative source, God, the absolute, unified awareness. And then life is the material, everything that we see with our eyes. So you can say one is form and one is the formlessness behind it. What holism really means is when we come into a unified awareness of both the immaterial and the material. Now, what begins to happen in our body is that in order to that, we have to release all of the stagnant holding patterns of bioforce in our body, so we begin to experience health also. And by removing those patterns, we also now begin to experience a new richness in life and our creative power, because we're basically freeing the subconscious at the same time. So, I mean, this is not just esoteric and mystical, it's also very biological. And that's in our program in Shen Life, that's what we really focus on. We call it biological spirituality. I believe these bodies are the temple, the most densest representation of the divine, and the body shouldn't get sick and age the way they do. And the closer we are to Shen, creative source, spirit, the healthier and more longevity that we will experience in this physical body.
Boy, we are on the same page, Stephen. We've got to go to the break now, but we'll be back in a couple of minutes, okay?
Okay.